I know this isn't exactly breaking news, but Hollywood sucks. You need proof? Well, look at the last two big budget movies that came out. Captain America, Brave New World was a flop that went through I don't know how many reshoots, and by all accounts was just slapped together. There were even reports that the star, Anthony Mackie, lost his doo-doo and screamed at the production staff about not having a script. I mean, I don't understand how you can have a movie and not have a script for it. Even Neil Breen movies have scripts. Bad, incoherent scripts, but still, at least they have a script. Then there's the cinematic disaster that makes Chernobyl look like a burnt hamburger called Snow White. Now, some articles say its budget was $270 million, but other reports indicate that due to reshoots and production delays, the cost soared to between $320 and $350 million. And for all that money, we got 7 dwarves that look like mutated lawn gnomes from your worst nightmare. Still can't get over that. I mean, Godzilla Minus One was like, I think, less than $15 million, and the CGI on Godzilla was fantastic. Anyway, after about a month in theaters, Snow White has made, wait till you hear this, little over $183 million. Its IMDb score is 1.6 out of 10. This is a major Disney movie, and its IMDb score is 1.6. Now, to put this in perspective, Manos, The Hands of Fate, and, of all movies, Birdemic, Shock and Terror, whose budgets were, I don't know, whatever the producers made busking on their local street corners, both of them have higher IMDb scores than Snow White. Not by much, but still higher. But that's just modern Hollywood for you. They sink $250 to $300 million into reboots and remakes, resurrecting classic IPs and turning Disney classic cartoons into garbage, half live action, half CGI abominations. And it makes me think what we need to get people back in the theaters for a positive experience is a really good sports movie. Then I started thinking, when was the last time we got a really good sports movie? And I think it might have been that Kurt Warner biopic that came out a few years ago, which you're not going to believe this. I still have yet to see it. One of these days I'll get around to it. Before then, I think the last really good sports movie was 42, the Jackie Robinson movie. I mean, come on, how long can we go without good sports movies? And maybe I'm saying that having been spoiled by growing up in the 80s, then moving into the 90s, and during that stretch. You look at some of the classic sports movies that we had at that time. The Natural, Hoosiers, Bull Durham, Field of Dreams, one of my all-time favorite movies, not just all-time favorite sports movie, one of my all-time favorite movies, period. What else do we have? Major League and Major League 2. The Sandlot, A League of Their Own. Little Big League, the one where a 12-year-old kid becomes owner of the Minnesota Twins, which to me, one of the most underrated sports movies ever. Even in the 21st century, look at what we got. Remember the Titans, Glory Road, Invincible, Miracle. Where are those kinds of movies these days? And man, we're just tired of you idiots in Hollywood screwing up stuff like Star Wars and Star Trek and Indiana Jones and doing garbage remakes of movies like The Crow. Oh, geez. I saw some of the clips of that, some of the reviews of that. What an absolute travesty to the memory of Brandon Lee on that one, because the original Crow was an outstanding movie. Can you shake it up a little and give us a good sports movie? In fact, I will help. Now, here are some of my ideas, free of charge to Hollywood, and you're welcome. Now, The creation of and the chaotic collapse of the World Football League from the 1970s, which I actually cover in my book Here and Gone, Short-Lived Sports Teams and Leagues. And that was just the Cliff Notes version of what a fiasco in a toilet bowl that situation was. The 1962 New York Mets season, when they lost 120 games in their debut year. Now, I think those first two ideas I had there, I think they would make great sports movie comedies, right up there with one of the greatest of all time, Slapshot. Okay, some more sports movie ideas. Now, how about a movie showing the origin of the Arena Football League? Or what about the 2001 World Series and what that meant to the country in the wake of 9/11? How about a movie about Gil Hodges, and not what he did as a player for the Brooklyn Dodgers or as manager of the 1969 world champion New York Mets? A movie about Gil Hodges' time as an anti-aircraft gunner for the Marine Corps during the Battle of Okinawa in World War II, where he received the Bronze Star for his efforts in that battle. Here's one. What about a movie about the rise and fall of Denny McLain, who went from a two-time Cy Young winner for the Detroit Tigers in the 1960s to being suspended for gambling, returning to baseball, becoming a 20-game loser, then going to jail on fraud charges? Or I think this would be kind of an interesting one. What about a movie about the 33-inning game between the Rochester Red Wings and the Pawtucket Red Sox in 1981? And that was a game that actually featured two future Hall of Famers, Cal Ripken Jr. and Wade Boggs. And because everyone loves a good underdog story, how about a movie based on perhaps the greatest upset in college basketball history when Chaminade University, an NAIA school in Hawaii, beat NCAA number one ranked Virginia in 1982. Or, and this is bringing it closer to home, but I think this would still be a movie with a lot of appeal to it, a movie about Coach Mike Pantaleone creating the Yavapai College men's soccer team from nothing and winning a junior college national championship in their second year of existence. And I think any one of those ideas would make for great movies. But will that happen? Probably not. Not with present-day Hollywood, since they seem dead set against breaking out of this mindset of every movie needing a budget of around $250, $260, $270 million, which then flop. But then they keep doing the process over and over again because they are so afraid to take any sort of risk on original ideas and concepts, which is why all they do is strip mine movies and shows from the past, then give them to directors and producers and writers who are either more concerned about pushing their political agendas or have zero talent and imagination, or a combination of the two. Now, does that mean all hope is lost? No, because there are independent filmmakers and studios out there who still care about telling good stories. So I think whatever the next great sports movie is, it won't come from the morally and creatively bankrupt cesspool that is modern Hollywood. I think it will come from outsiders who actually give a darn about putting out a good movie and an entertaining movie that will entertain their audiences. Well, at least that's my hope. Maybe a forlorn hope, but at least it's a hope. All right, folks, 928-541-1016, number to call here on the Tri-City Sports Roundup. When we come back, we're going to be talking baseball. We've got members of the Prescott baseball team in here, currently ranked number 11 in the 4A conference in power points. With me, I've got Ivan Schuster, I've got Adrian Sandiford, I got Lucas Tobin. So we'll be talking about their great season, and we'll be talking about that game they got coming up against Bradshaw Mountain on Tuesday, which we will be broadcasting that game on our sports station, The Team, 1450 AM, KNOT, 3 o'clock the broadcast time. Got to check that out. Okay, folks, break time here on the Roundup. We'll be back right after this. We are back here on the Tri-City Sports Roundup. John Rust with you here. As I said before we went to break, we will be broadcasting the Prescott Bradshaw Mountain baseball game Tuesday on our sports station, The Team, 1450 AM KNOT. By the way, folks, finally, it took a lot of doing because we have to deal with blackout rules and everything because we broadcast a lot of college and pro games on The Team. But finally, we do have our website up. It is theteam1450.com. You can go there, listen live on your computer, whatever, your phone, whatever device you have. Also, we have apps available that you can buy to listen to the Team 1450 AM wherever you are. So I just want to get that out there. So we are fully set for Tuesday's game against Bradshaw Mountain. As I'm sure the three guys in the studio with me, they are fully set for it. I've got Ivan Schuster, I've got Adrian Sandiford, I got Lucas Tobin from the Prescott baseball team here. Guys, good morning and thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
So, Ivan, I'm going to start with you, buddy. It's been a really good season for Prescott. Like I said, ranked number 11 in power points in the 4A conference. And, you've had so many games where you're winning them by double-digit runs. So what have been some of the reasons why Prescott has had such a really great season so far?
Yeah, we've been hitting really well. It started out in, the first preseason tournament we had, way back in January, where we played some pretty good teams down in Phoenix and kind of whooped up on them, but we were putting up large numbers. I think we put up over 15 runs every game, and it kind of just continued from there, and then kind of just rolled over into the season, and we've been hitting really well.
Mm-hmm. And Adrian, I know at that tournament, the Pinell County Memorial Tournament, you guys suffered some losses there, maybe a bit of a rough start to the season, but I figure those tournaments, it's not about winning or losing. It's kind of about finding yourself, learning some lessons. So what were some of the takeaways you had from that tournament at Pinell County that you felt really helped you guys throughout the course of the season?
Well, I feel like every team we played was a good team and definitely just kind of was like an eye-opener to see where we were at, as a team for skill-wise and everything. Just kind of see where we're up against, some of the bigger teams in the state, different divisions and stuff. But I definitely think as a team, I know these guys will agree with me that we definitely could have played a lot better against those teams. Mm-hmm. And we definitely could have been 4-0, to be honest. So.
Okay. And Lucas, looking at this roster, you guys got a pretty senior-heavy roster. You have some pretty good sophomores and juniors in there, but a lot of really good seniors. So going into the season, knowing the kind of experience and talent you guys had, what were some of the expectations for Prescott baseball for 2025?
Going into the season, I think we needed a lot of leadership and that's good with our senior-heavy team. I think we got a lot of good leaders on our team. And losing a couple guys last year, they were kind of our leaders, so some other guys had to step up. I think with the new coach coming in as well, with all these seniors, I think the expectation was for us to kind of show them how we do baseball here at Prescott High School, and just the expectations and mentality of trying to win every game and playing every game hardest or the best we can, and not giving up until the 7th inning.
Okay. And Ivan, well, kind of like Lucas said, you guys got a new coach this year, Coach Hutch, Jason Hutchins. So tell us what that process was like of, I guess kind of the feeling out process. You guys getting used to him and him getting used to all you guys.
Yeah, so he's a really personable guy, pretty quiet, but really easy to talk to. So I kind of warmed up to him pretty quick. He's not too intimidating or anything of that nature. He's a really easy guy to talk to, and I really like him. So.
Okay. And then, of course, after that Pinell County tournament, you guys started rattling off win after win. In fact, one of the more impressive wins you guys had this season, game I happened to be there covering, going back to March 11th, you took on Deer Valley. Not the greatest weather situation out there, some horrible weather. You had the lead in the 5th. Then you dropped it. Then you tied it. And then, Adrian, it was you, man. Getting, I think, that walk-off infield single there. So just kind of take us through the ups and downs of that game and how you pulled it out against the Skyhawks.
Well, obviously, like you said, the weather was not ideal. And I was pitching that game, so I felt it wasn't my best start. I had a lot of walks in there, and I think I definitely kept the game closer than it needed to be. But at the end, we pulled the game out and then got the job done when we needed to. And that just shows, the kind of fight in our team that even when things aren't going our way, we kind of just are always sticking around, just there till the very end. So.
And Lucas, the game before you took on Williamsfield, and you lost that one 12-6. So how big was it after that loss to come back, get a come from behind, get a walk-off win over Deer Valley like that?
Well, I think that was a very great team win, especially to start off the regular season. With Deer Valley knocking us off last year in the playoffs, this game meant everything to us. So, and especially after losing that Williamsfield game, we knew what we had to work on. I think we had to clean up some of the walks and just some of the errors. But I think we did a great job hitting that game and pulled out the win.
And Ivan, so after that game, you get the win, a walk-off win like that. And then after that, that's when you guys really started going on a nice little run with wins. So how much do you feel that Deer Valley win really set the stage for what was to come for Prescott?
Yeah, so it was a good team win, you know. I mean, we could have put them to bed earlier. It shouldn't have been as close as it was, but it was good to show a little heart and a lot of fight to come and win a game that we all didn't have our best stuff. You know, Adrian didn't have his best stuff on the mound. You know, we didn't hit that great until towards the end of the game, and that once we finally did hit, then we kind of rolled the walk-off momentum into the next couple of games and are still kind of running with the same momentum.
Mm-hmm. And well, speaking of that momentum, after that win over Deer Valley, your next 5 games, you won it by double-digit runs. In fact, you had back-to-back 15-0 wins over Mojave and Agua Fria. You had a 15-3 win over Coconino. So, Adrian, what was it like? What was going on during that 5-game stretch where it was just hitting, and scoring, and like nobody could stop your offense?
Well, I think when our team gets on a roll, it's kind of hard to slow us down. I mean, I feel like we kind of have a rare situation where, 1 through 9, everyone can kind of swing the bat, and most high school teams don't have the luxury of being able to do that. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely nice, when everyone in the dugout believes in each other. So we just all kind of pull for each other, and just when that happens, good things happen at the plate. So.
Well, speaking of good things happen at the plate, I mean, you're one of the pitchers for Prescott. So tell us, for yourself, for the other pitchers on the team, what does that mean when your guys are just raking and can put up a bunch of points? How much confidence does that give you out on the mound, knowing, hey, even if I make a mistake or two, I can recover from that and it won't be a big deal?
Well, it's definitely nice. It's also nice because the other team kind of gets a sense that they don't really have a chance to come back and win the game, so they kind of start to let up a little bit, and then they start putting together not as quality at bats as maybe they could have, or something like that. So it's just it's really nice, just having that offense behind you and just the defense and everything. So,
and Lucas, now after that 5-game stretch of double-digit runs, you go up against Bradshaw Mountain. That was not a lopsided game. That was one darn close game. Came right down to the wire. You guys came up just a little short, 5-4 in that one. Just kind of take us through what went down in that game.
It was a night game. It was a little cold out. When you play a team like Bradshaw, they're always solid. They're always going to be fundamental. And I think it comes down to those games, what team gives up the most walks and errors. And that night, I think that proved true, as we had some errors and some walks. I think we got going a little late in the game as well. I think our bats started warming up towards the end, but if we want to win that game, we got to start hitting earlier in the game.
Okay. And, well, Ivan, you played a bunch of other games after that. Again, you got Bradshaw Mountain coming up on Tuesday. So what do you think are going to be some of the things you guys got to do different in order to earn a season split for your series with the Bears?
Yeah, we got to come out swinging at this time. We can't get going in the 6th and 7th inning, and we can't be beating ourselves on the defensive side of the ball. And we got to make the plays that we can make and hit the ball. So
okay. In fact, Adrian, this is going to be kind of a busy week for you guys because the Bradshaw game actually was supposed to take place a couple days after your first meeting with them on March 31st, but then we had a really nasty storm come through, and that delayed it. So basically, you guys are going to be playing 3 games in 3 days. Monday, you got Mingus, and that's going to be up at Mingus. Thankfully, not a very long road trip. Then Tuesday, at home against Bradshaw Mountain, Wednesday at home against Mingus. So talk about what you guys are going to have to do to get through that stretch of 3 games in 3 straight days.
Obviously not kind of burn ourselves the very first game on Monday. Just kind of like not take it easy, but just kind of pace ourselves because, we have a long week and everything. So just got to kind of be, all hands on deck for this week. Everyone's going to have to play a part on the team. So just kind of looking forward to it. And yeah.
Okay. All right, folks. So in the studio with me today, I've got Ivan Schuster, I've got Adrian Sandiford, and I've got Lucas Tobin from the Prescott baseball team. Again, they will be playing Bradshaw Mountain on Tuesday, and we will have that game for you on our sports station, the team, 1450 AM, KNOT. And you can listen to us online at theteam1450.com. You can also go there and download the app for our station so you can listen to us anywhere. All right, break time coming up here on the Tri-City Sports Roundup. But, as always, before we go to break, it's time to see who shined over the past 7 days as we present the Tri-City Sports Roundup 3 Stars of the Week. Starting with the ladies, our number 3 star is Violet Williams of the Prescott track and field team. She won the 100-meter dash and the long jump at the Bradshaw Mountain Invitational last Saturday. The number 2 star is Kinsey Murphy of the Chino Valley softball team. She struck out 18 in the Lady Cougars' 5-3 triumph over Kingman Monday. And our number 1 star of the week is Bella Maria Mantini of the Embry-Riddle golf team. The freshman won the individual conference championship at the GSAC tournament on Wednesday. Now for the guys, our number 3 star is Justin Sherrington of the Yavapai College baseball team. He went 4 for 4 with a home run, a triple, 4 RBIs, and 4 runs scored in the Rough Riders 18-4 rout of Glendale last Saturday. The number 2 star is Adrian Sandiford, sitting right across from me, of the Prescott baseball team. He was the winning pitcher and at the plate went 5 for 5 with 4 RBIs in the Badgers' 14-5 shellacking of Flagstaff on Tuesday. And our number 1 star of the week is KJ Greenfield of the Prescott track and field team. He won the 100-meter dash, the 200-meter dash, and the long jump at the Bradshaw Mountain Invitational last Saturday. Congratulations to all our 3 stars of the week. Break time here on the Tri-City Sports Roundup. We will be back with more right after this. All right, we are back here on the Tri-City Sports Roundup. John Rust with you here. And, well, as I mentioned before, Tuesday, 3 p.m. on our sports station, The Team, 1450 a.m. KNOT. We will have the Prescott and Bradshaw Mountain baseball game for you. Also, a couple other things coming up for you on The Team. Well, we got a double header, 2 different sports going on today. Coming up in about an hour or so from now, we've got Major League Baseball on The Team 1450. We've got the Royals at the Tigers. Then at 5 p.m. tonight, NBA playoffs. We've got Minnesota taking on the Lakers. Also, don't forget to be with the team Thursday, Friday, and Saturday as we will have coverage of the NFL draft for you all 3 days of it. So, who will the Arizona Cardinals be getting to try to bolster their team and, improve a team that needs improving? And, of course, who will my Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles get to bolster their greatness and hopefully go back-to-back with Super Bowl champions? Yes, I know I'm being a little bit obnoxious about that, but I'm a Philadelphia sports fan, so obnoxiousness is just part of our DNA. Anyway, folks, in the studio with me today, I've got Ivan Schuster, I've got Adrian Sandiford, I've got Lucas Tobin from the Prescott baseball team. And as always, when we have athletes in here, we got to do our lightning round and find out a little more about their teammates. Oh, yeah, I didn't brief them on what lightning round was. Maybe on purpose, because sometimes I like being evil like that. Anyway, Ivan, I'm going to start with you, man. Who on Prescott would you say is the best dressed player? Who would be walking out to ZZ Top's sharp dressed man?
Cooper Magnet.
So he's Mr. Fashion Plate, huh?
Yeah, I'd have to say him.
Okay. Adrian, who on Prescott would you say is probably the funniest guy on the team? Who's the team comedian?
I would probably have to say Lucas Tobin.
No. Congratulations, man. Now say something funny. I know you just can't do it like that.
On the spot in the lightning round.
I know. Okay, well I'm going to put you on the spot again here in the lightning round. Who would you say is probably the most serious player on the team?
Jacob Patterson.
That's a good answer.
Wow, didn't even have to think of that, huh? Man.
It's locked in.
All right. So, Ivan, who would you say is probably the most talkative guy on the team?
Nick Martin.
Yeah. Just a sophomore, too, and he's still gift of gab, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
You should hear him.
Oh, got to remember that for future interview opportunities then. Okay, Adrian, on the opposite side, who's the quietest guy on the team? The guy who...
Patterson.
Patterson again?
Gotta be Jacob Patterson.
So basically, if I went to interview him, I'd probably get, maybe a 3-word answer?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right, so Lucas, who on Prescott can eat the most in one sitting?
Jacob, I'm just kidding.
So I guess Jacob's not going to be it?
No. Honestly, I think it's got to be me or Adrian, to be honest.
Yeah, I would say so.
What, do you have contests and team dinners or something?
Well, no. But I feel like whenever we do eat, we definitely have the most on our plate stuff.
All right. So, again, we have, actually baseball's coming down to the last couple weeks of the season here. We got playoffs on the horizon. Prescott in a pretty good position to make the postseason, ranked at number 11. Still got a few more games to go here, so hopefully climb up a little higher in those rankings. Meanwhile, again, all 3 of these guys are seniors. So, Ivan, actually, on the day of the Prescott-Bradshaw game on Tuesday, you've got your signing day at Prescott, and I'm hesitant to say you're going to my old neck of the woods because you'll be playing in Pennsylvania, but you're going to be playing in the northwestern corner of Pennsylvania, which is actually a lot closer to Cleveland and Lake Erie than it is to where I live back in Jersey. So tell us how you decided that you wanted to travel over to, 2,000 miles away to Meadville, Pennsylvania to play baseball for Allegheny College.
Yeah, so I obviously I could go to an Arizona junior college or something like that, but I didn't really want to go to the JUCO route. Kind of wanted to go somewhere, settle in for 4 years, get a piece of paper, and then go on with life. But I had a lot of offers. Had my final 2 were Allegheny and Ripon College, which is in Wisconsin. Went and toured those, I think in February. Mm-hmm. and then came back, and after a couple of weeks made a decision to continue playing baseball at Allegheny.
Okay. And, well, how much you looking forward to a vast difference in culture going from Arizona to Pennsylvania?
I'm excited for it. I'm excited. I'm hoping that I can continue playing baseball at a high level and go get a piece of paper and have some fun.
Okay. What are you going to be majoring in over there?
Business.
Okay. So, Adrian, now you are going the JUCO route. You told me that you decided you're going to be heading down to Glendale College to play for them. What made you come to that decision?
Well, so I'm going as a pitcher, and they're letting me two-way now, but to start out, I was just going as a pitcher. But I really just like their pitching coach there and how it's a very pitcher heavy school, and I just like how they just kind of handle, like, your arm care and stuff like that, and just how they go about all the stuff like that. And they have a very high success rate of sending pitchers off to D1 colleges, and so that was just kind of my thought process when committing there. So, yeah.
All right. Now, Lucas, you are definitely going to be staying close to home here because you told me before the show that you're going to be going as a walk-on to Yavapai College. So what made you come to that decision?
Well, yeah, obviously I'm going to try, but I came to that decision because just for my career choice mainly, I'm interested in doing a construction trade, and many schools that I could go play, well, some schools I could go play baseball at are NAIAs, and they don't really offer that. So I don't really want to, I guess, like, go to school for baseball more so than going to school for my academic choice. I think I just don't want to get behind in financial things and get put in a hole.
Gotcha. So basically, you got the best of both worlds there, going for what you really want to major in, and having an opportunity to play baseball too.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I still got to talk to the coach, so we'll see.
Okay. Coach Wood. Well, I get along pretty well with Coach Wood. So, Coach Woods, yeah, you're going to get yourself a good guy right here.
Yeah, put in a good word.
Yeah,
put in a good word.
I'm trying. I don't know how much my good word is going to matter, but, I mean, at least it's something, I guess.
Okay.
All right. So, well, Ivan, speaking of baseball, how did you get interested in playing baseball in the first place?
Started really young, obviously. I played almost every sport growing up, and I think I kind of just got signed up for it, and then just as I got older, it was just this is what I want to do. So that's kind of just progressed from there.
Well, you said you played every sport, but I don't think you're a multi-sport athlete over at Prescott. You just pretty much stick with baseball.
Yeah. So actually, this year, maybe a month or two into school, I actually quit basketball and just decided to focus on baseball, as did Tobin. We just both felt that it'd be better to focus on baseball full time instead of getting a late start into the season.
Okay. And Adrian, what about you? What made you get interested in baseball?
Well, same thing with Ivan. I kind of played every sport when I was younger too, but I think once I really started to fall in love with baseball is when probably I was about 10. I started doing travel baseball. It's just kind of what made me fall in love with it. Just the hotel trips and just all the games down in Phoenix, which is kind of really fun. So yeah.
And again, for kind of like Ivan here, not a multi-sport athlete in high school. Yeah.
No, I quit basketball after my freshman year. Decided I'd had enough of that. So.
And Lucas, what about you? What got you interested in baseball?
Growing up, I only really played soccer and flag football early in my life. I didn't actually even start playing baseball until I was 11 years old. So I got a late start, had some catching up to do. But I got introduced to it because my dad, he's a heavy baseball fan, really was influencing me and then wanted me to play. I tried it once, and I had a great time. So ever since then, it's been my favorite sport.
Okay. And, well, talking baseball here, let's talk favorite teams. Ivan, your favorite major league team?
Arizona Diamondbacks.
Kind of thought so. Adrian?
I have two. So I like the Diamondbacks, obviously, because I'm from Arizona, but my favorite player was Francisco Lindor. He was on the Indians, the Guardians now. So I like the Guardians.
See, okay, I really want to focus on this because sometimes I take a bunch of guff because I say I have two favorite teams because I'm a Philadelphia Phillies fan because, where I grew up in Hamilton Township was like about 35 miles away from Philly. so I'd be watching the Phillies games all the time. But I'm also a Red Sox fan. For one, I actually have relatives in Massachusetts. 2, I hate the Yankees. 3, when I was growing up, I tried to emulate Carl Yastrzemski's batting stance, even though he was a left-handed hitter and I was a right-handed hitter, and even though he had talent, athletic talent, and I didn't. But still, that's why I became a Red Sox fan. So good on you. See, you can have 2 favorite teams in a sport. Kind of like in hockey, I root for the Flyers and the Devils. So there. So, Lucas, what about you? Do you have 2 favorite baseball teams or what?
Just one, John. Just one.
Diamondbacks?
Nope. New York Mets.
Oh! Why? Why? All right, so how did you come to be a fan of a team that plays like 2,300 miles away?
My dad grew up on Staten Island, and the Mets game is always on at my house, whether it's on the radio, the TV, or pretty much any streaming device. But the Mets game is on 24/7, so diehard Mets fan. So he's kind of pushed that on me.
Gotcha. So basically, going back to my monologue, when I was coming up with ideas for really good sports movies, I guess that one I mentioned about the 1962 Mets season would be one you'd be interested in.
No, not in particular.
Come on. Their first season, man.
It actually would be interesting still because I don't know how a team could lose that much in a season. It's pretty embarrassing.
The White Sox did it last year.
Actually, yeah, I think they surpassed the Mets last year. Yeah.
They lost like 121 games.
Well,
But here's the thing. The Mets were an expansion team that year, so they had an excuse. What excuse did the White Sox have? I mean, they'd been around since like the turn of the 20th century.
Maybe they should make the movie about them.
You know what? We can do both. We can do the 62 Mets and we can do the 24 White Sox.
Yeah, we should do that.
Oh, man. So anyway, folks, just got a couple minutes left here on the show. And, along with baseball, Ivan, I know there are there are a lot of other groups and organizations outside of sports at Prescott High School. So are you involved with any of them?
I'm not.
No? Adrian, what about you?
Like other sports?
Or other like school activities, organizations?
Yeah, no.
No, just a sports guy.
Yeah.
I do the Youth Alive Club at Prescott High School.
Mm-hmm. And what is that club about?
It's a Christian club at the high school where we share a message about like the gospel usually, and then we give out free pizza to everyone too on Thursdays.
Okay, so maybe we can get some of them to come out to the game on too. I mean, it should be a packed stadium there for Prescott versus Bradshaw, huh?
Yeah, the past couple of years, I feel like the bleachers have been full, so I think this year should be a full crowd.
All right,
Should be fun.
Great. And like I said, playoffs are on the horizon. So, Ivan, just your thoughts on, getting set for, I know you got a few more games left to go, but, it looks like Prescott's in a really good spot to cinch up a spot in the playoffs here. So just your thoughts on how much you're looking forward to state tournament.
Yeah, we're excited. We're hoping to make a pretty deep run. If we keep playing baseball at a high level, hopefully we win out and roll some momentum into playoffs and make a good deep push.
Mm-hmm. And Adrian, you're a senior, so is Ivan, so is Lucas. Got a bunch of other seniors on there. So how much of a motivating factor is that for you guys to go out there and try to make a really deep run in the playoffs?
Well, I messaged these guys the other day actually saying that it's kind of like our last time that we're all going to get to play baseball together on the same team and just kind of have fun with it and just play with no regrets and just play one way. And so just leave everything out on the field. Just whatever happens, happens.
All right, Lucas, what about you? How much are you looking forward to your final run in the playoffs in your high school career?
I'm very excited for it. I think this week dictates a lot what's going to happen in the playoffs. I think we need to get these big wins this weekend to carry that momentum into the playoffs. Again, I'm really excited for the playoffs and just playing baseball with my best friends for the last 2 weeks, or the last couple weeks of high school.
Okay. Well, folks, excuse me, we're coming up to the end of the show here, but I want to thank Ivan Schuster, Adrian Sandiford, and Lucas Tobin for joining us here on the Tri-City Sports Roundup, talking about Prescott baseball. And again, they got a busy week coming up here. Monday, they are in Cottonwood to take on Mingus. Tuesday, home against Bradshaw Mountain, and that game will be aired on the team, 1450 a.m., KNOT, our sports station, starting at 3 p.m. Then on Wednesday, they are home again to take on Mingus. So a lot of opportunities here to catch Prescott baseball, if not in person. Again, Tuesday, you can catch it on the team, 1450 a.m. KNOT. Also, our new website for there, theteam1450.com. You can listen live there. Well, guys, I want to thank you very much for joining us here on Tri-City Sports Roundup. And best of luck to you. Best of luck to the rest of the Badgers as you guys head into the postseason.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, again, folks, that's going to do it for our show. Stay tuned. We've got our slate of live local talk coming up here on KYCA. Coming up top of the hour, we've got Healthline with Dr. David Hancock. Then at 10 a.m., it's Drive Time AZ for all your automotive needs and questions. Then at 11 a.m., it is Eye on Prescott. So it's our Saturday morning of local talk here on KYCA. We've also got sports for you on the team, 1450 a.m. KNOT. Major League Baseball coming up in, about 40 minutes over there. Kansas City versus Detroit. Then at 5 p.m. over on the team, 1450 a.m., we've got NBA playoffs. The Minnesota Timberwolves against the Los Angeles Lakers. Tune in for all that. Well, folks, thank you again for joining us here on the Tri-City Sports Roundup, and I will see you next week. Have yourselves a good one.